can within them. So welcome to Global Intelligence Update. Last week, we spoke quite a lot about the who, building your virtual board. Did any of you test it this week? Did any of you reach out to somebody and say, would love you to be on my board. These are the questions that I have. Did you test it, Dovey? You, Nadine? Anybody test it? Any results? What happened when you started asking those questions?
Can I have a different take?
Mm.
So I thought that's too many, my opinion. And at the moment, I'm trying to say maybe I would like 4 people, and not 10, because that will be simpler from that point of view. But I haven't collapsed them into 4 people. I'll send it to you when I have done. I thought that would be simpler.
Yeah.
And also, in general, small boards are always better than big boards.
Yeah.
Because they work better together. But that's my take.
No, awesome. I look forward to hearing you do it practically and see what comes from it. Dovey, what did you do?
I probably followed a similar thing. I thought 10 was also too overwhelming. So I reached out to a few people, asked them if they'd like to be on my board of members. I told them a few questions, and all of them were great. I'd love to attend.
Nice.
So I've just got to basically just flesh it out more, and yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, good
Rafi,
feedback.
you didn't invite me. I'm devastated.
You gotta be careful what you say. That's funny. Nice. Well done. Yeah, I think because 10 sounds overwhelming, don't make it overwhelming. Okay, so start off with smaller. You don't have to collapse them, Annalise. What you need to look as who do you need immediately, and choose those ones rather than collapsing them, because as your business grows, your needs are going to change, and that's why 10 is a great number eventually, but you don't have to have all of them all the time. So it's really about being able to ask people questions, because otherwise we sit in our own office and we get into our head. I want you to get out of your head now, okay, and make money. That's the important side. So well done for those that try to do something this week. I think it's great, and keep doing that. Then the other side of the coin is we spoke a lot about the one-liner, and for those that attended in Cape Town as well, it was quite an interesting session. I got so many emails afterwards with everybody's one-liners and questions and stuff. It was very interesting, but it's such a simple thing that is able to make you gain trust and build authority really, really quickly. So it's really nice to get those words right, and they can just roll off your tongue very, very easily as we go forward. So well done for that. So today we're going to talk about the what part of the triangle that I spoke about last week. So last week, if you have the formula right, it's the who, the what, and the when. So we know that building your what will start building trust, will create revenue, and you can then scale. Scale doesn't mean becoming a corporate. That's not the scaling that I'm talking about. We know that most of the time our problem from a business owner perspective or entrepreneur's perspective is we lack clarity. And I can see it last week, particularly from the one-liner, from all the messages that I got and the interaction that we've had. So what we need to do is we need to start making things much more clearer. Okay, so if I'm not understanding what you're doing now, that's a problem, because I can't then do referrals, I can't make suggestions, I can't interact with you, and I can't become your client, which is really what you're looking for right now, is more clients. On a daily basis, I must get between 3 or 4 emails from people looking for money, for funding. And my first question is, how much sales do you have? So have we reached the pinnacle of our sales that we're needing to diversify, add machinery, do something really dramatic? And most of the time is we actually just need more clients to make more money. And then we've got the money that we need in order to do most things in business. So we really need to be clear on what it is. So we have to have the framework of the who, the what, and the when in place. So today's focus is designing the offerings. So what do you actually offer? So if you want to pop into the chat or shout out, I don't mind. What is it? What products? or what offerings do you offer right now? So if I was to buy from you, what would you sell me? So you can pop into the chat, you can chat, you can talk to me.
Okay, I've got 4 offerings. I do one-on-one leadership coaching, team leadership coaching, and then I do leadership inputs, workshops, and then I do keynotes. That's
Okay,
it.
interesting. And who else does what? Dovey, keynotes, workshops, coaching. Okay. Anybody else? What do you actually do? What is that product offering? So what are you going to sell me is the important side. Facilitation of difficult conversations for families and businesses. Okay. Anybody else? Restore your health for max energy and vitality. Learn to successfully lead by changing the way you think, speak, and ask questions through seminars, coachings, and keynotes. All right. So I don't know if any of you have noticed, but with most of what we offer, we doing it. Can you see that? So what happens when you're sick in your business? It's just a question. Okay, you don't have to answer it right now. I want you to think about it as we talk, because I want you to expand where you currently are sitting with your what. So let's have a look further. So if we look at how the buyer is going to decide from you, at least 70% of people coming to you right now wanting to buy something. But the important thing behind it is that there's going to be confusion versus clarity. Most of the time, most of my clients are very confused with what are they offering and how they're putting it together. So therefore, they don't build trust. Whereas if I say to you, what do? You do X, Y, Z, and this is how you do it, and here's an infographic for each one of them. It's as simple as what that is. There's clarity. The answer is yes, I'm your client, or no, that's not what I want to do. It's as simple as what that is. You don't waste time with meetings. You don't waste time with coffee chats, etc., because that's what takes a lot of our time. Obviously, the one-liner we spoke about, and I'm not going to go into that today. So that develops your offer. So from your one-liner, your offerings need to be very sharp and ready, because the moment somebody says to you, "That's amazing, how do you do it?" from your one-liner, you need to be able to then go into the detail. Okay, but it also needs to be short and sharp, because everybody's attention span is really, really low. Okay, so I'm going to take you on a little journey of mine, if you'll indulge me for a moment. My very first business was called the Iron Lady. I bought this business in 1998 for 6,500 Rand. And this was the reason. I was in corporate. I worked in corporate retail for 6 years. I had 13 promotions in that time. I thought I was going to be this badass business corporate woman. And then I had a baby, and he ended up in an oxygen tent. And that was my deciding factor. Like us all, we all get to a point, like a T-junction. Which direction do you go into? It was very easy. Those days we didn't have cell phones, so I couldn't have a conversation with my husband. The decision was very simple for me. I was going to be with my child in hospital, not in the corporate space. So I resigned, took a package, and drove out thinking I'm going to have to break this news to my husband. Driving down the road, I found a laundry for sale and I bought it. And then I thought, oh, I'm going to have to break this news to my husband as well. 18 months later, I sold it for 2,300% profit. So it took me 18 months to build the business to the level that I was happy with it. But I sold it as the perfect franchise model. And I'm going to explain how I got to that point within that period of time. But this is the reason why I sold it. And I don't know if this video will start. But there are only 7 ways to fold undies. So if you didn't know that, I'm telling you, there's only 7 ways to fold undies. And that's what stifled my creativity within inside this business. It gave me the freedom to be with my newborn baby, but it also gave me the creativity to build a business to a great level. But there was no creativity. So you can go home tonight and go and try folding your undies 7 ways. Okay, there are 7 ways. I promise you, I tried and tested each way. So what does that mean really when it comes to your product offerings? There's 3 layers to the perfect product package that we have within inside a business. And the bottom is always about trust. Trust is probably the biggest element that we have in business at the moment that is not always given. And you can see how many scammers are around. You can see how many phone calls that you get that are scamming on a daily basis. Trust is one of the areas that people are looking for continuously. And the more AI comes in, the more the trust area is going to be eroded and eroded. So we have to keep being that authentic self. So your bottom layer of your pyramid is always about building trust. But for me, it's also about building a market. So the more I can sell at the bottom of my product pyramid, the more I'm going to get into the market, the more people are going to be talking about me. But this is an area that most businesses don't have, including most of you on the call that told me what you do. Because at the bottom of the pyramid, it's all about your clients being able to do it themselves. Okay, we'll get more into that. The next level is about creating results, and that's where you guys have all said that you form part of, where you're coaching, where you're speaking, etc. And that's a fantastic part to play, and that's where you do it with your clients. But another area that we never take into consideration, because it's about our confidence, is the top part, is the premium offers. Okay, and that is a transformation of business. If you can build that premium and sell that premium offer, your business will transform. So just to look at it, it's your entry level. Usually the bottom of your pyramid is lesser money and lesser profit, but greater quantity of people. And as you go up the pyramid, the quantity of people decreases, but your rand value and your profit increase. Okay, that's why it's in a pyramid form. Does that make sense? Right. So in my laundry, I had a do-it-yourself. What I bought was 4 coin-operated machines, which sounded fantastic. I was going to become the next millionaire, where I didn't have to do anything. These 4 coin-operated machines. They worked 24/7, or they were open 24/7. And the income that I received from those coin-operated machines was covering my electricity, the water, the cleaning of the machines, the rental of the space, etc. So it really covered my fixed expenses. So can you imagine if you had a product offering that covered all your expenses? What does it do? And very little of your time is put there. What does it do? It gives you time to work on your business. All right. So now with my laundry, these machines were working really nicely. And most of the day, from morning till about 4-ish, they were standing open. But from 4 until midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, people were doing their laundry, which was great. But here was a missed opportunity, because what was I doing with the machines during the day? And that allowed me to add time, because we make so many decisions in our day. We feel exhausted. We've got to take a step back to look at it. Okay. So my moment was, I decided to employ some ladies that could come and do the ironing. I employed a general worker who could come and do the washing and the ironing on behalf of other people. We started opening earlier, so 7 o'clock, most of the work people in the area would drop off their laundry. and they were able then to pick it up on their way home in the evening. So we gave them this opportunity that within a day, we would have your laundry laundered and waiting for you by the time that you came home. What that allowed was to create this amazing competition with the staff of who could iron the most kilograms of ironing. And I won. I mean, how impressive is that? I just want to say, as a non-housewife, I know how to iron. So that was really exciting to get into, because it allowed me then to employ, but it also allowed me to use the time inside the space that I'm renting to make additional money. And this was still part of the bottom of the pyramid. Okay. So this just gave me the opportunity to speak to more and more clients on a regular basis, to have more and more feet in my store. But how did I get to being fully booked? Every single day, 365 days of the year, we were full. We had to stop taking in laundry on the day. And from a certain point, we would say your laundry would only be ready the next day or 2 days later, depending. So our facility was hugely in demand, which was amazing. And that's what you want to be in, just from the bottom of your pyramids. It was a community-based laundromat, so I had to understand who my clients were, and understanding that it was part of the community. The easiest in those years, without social media or anything, was the interaction at the robots at 7 o'clock in the morning when all the people were going to work. We would just hand out flyers. My staff had a great sense of humor, so their interaction with the traffic and the people driving past was absolutely phenomenal, which created this vibe for people to want to come to drop off their laundry. It was the most bizarre thing you've ever seen in your entire life. But that's what creates and generates the right vibe for your business, is who is going to come and want to drop off their laundry, or who's going to come and want to work with you at the bottom of the pyramid, because now it's their opportunity to trust you. So if we burnt their clothes, it would be a problem. If we didn't have their laundry ready for them on the time that we said it was going to be, that's going to be a problem. So all these little factors come into play, and we built an amazing name of trust. So the question to you is, what can you do within what you do, but a DIY part where your clients can do it themselves? For example, online templates are a great way to upsell something. Can you put templates that you can sell? Can you put ebooks on that you can sell? Can you do something once, or develop a course that you can sell? That you do it once, you record it once, people pay, and then they get to do it. You're not included in it. Okay, it can be some amazing moments. Everybody wants to lose weight. Everybody wants to be stress-free, for example, for James and for Dovey. You know, when you're looking from that point of view, from a stress-free environment, from a healthy moment, what can you put together that people really need to understand? Supplements, vitamins. I mean, it sounds so simple. And when we do these things every single day, but nobody has the knowledge in order to make those decisions. So can you put a template together of simple vitamins that you need to take on a daily basis and sell it in dollar form, like $29 or whatever? You will have a huge amount of followers by the end of a very short period of time. So that's where we start looking at the entry level of what can you do once, or where it includes very little of your time. And if you are doing workshops, etc., then is it that you can give it to somebody else to do? So you create it, but allow somebody else to run it. Because this allows our buyers to be ready to purchase, okay, the next big ticket item from you. And that's your scalable offers. So all your next layer of your pyramid. This allows you to maximize your growth. This is usually where we've all got it really beautifully right, okay? This is the area that we are included, but we're doing it with our clients. So it would be workshops, it would be facilitations, it would be courses with your clients, it would be your one-on-one coaching. You're working with your clients in order to gain a result. So what I did within the laundry here is I added a manager, but I couldn't let her stand and just manage during the day, because how much do you manage? The girls know what they're doing from a point of view of the washing and the ironing. So it was somebody that was employed with the knowledge of mending and basic alterations, and it actually became the most incredible growth to the business, because we started to pick up retainer clients, and these retainer clients needed, for a decor hire company, for example, would drop off their goods on a Monday and saw that she was sitting sewing and doing stuff. We started making tablecloths and runners, and we were able to charge way more money than fixing somebody's zip. But it allowed for the next level of offering to happen with inside the laundry. So what is your next level that you can think about in what you do? Can I see exactly what you offer? So when you say you facilitate, or when you say you have workshops, do you have a list of them? Do you have a name for them? Can you trademark that name? Do you have an infographics behind it that I can see there's 5 steps behind each workshop that you do, and this is what the outcome is going to be? The moment you start adding that kind of dimension to what you're doing, it elevates what you do, because now people can see that it's a scientific process, that you don't just sit with them and guess. Make sense? And then, of course, premium offers. Premium offers become one of the areas that most business owners and entrepreneurs shy away from, because it's the one that we can charge the most for. But this is where we all take a step back and say, no, we can't possibly charge that kind of money. Well, you can. It depends on how you put it together. How do you going to package it? Because once you've done it once and sold it once, I promise you, you'll be fine with selling it again and again and again, because that's where your confidence comes in. So what sits right at the top that you do very little of, so quantity wise, where you are totally part of the transformation of your client, and that you only offer it a couple of times a year, possibly, so the scarcity is there. Or you only offer it to 3 clients until their time with you is over, etc. So is it something that you can put together that could be, I know James has a fantastic retreat that he does. So in the retreat, how many times do you offer it in a year? Is it next level? What am I going to walk away with? Is it going to add value to my life? So you need to start thinking about what is that kind of offering that you can offer there. What I did in the laundry was I offered a delivery service. We had amazing hairdressers, event rental companies, and old age homes within the area. We would give them a day that we would come and collect, and a day that we would deliver. And it was normally on our quiet days. So in the week, no matter what business it is, there are always going to be quiet days. The days that everything does a little bit of a slump. Those are the days I needed to fill. Those machines needed to be running 24/7. So it was easy then to go and add retainer clients with a delivery service. It was probably one of the best things that we added to what we did, because people just jumped on the bandwagon. It was a value add for them, which I could charge premium, because it was my time or one of my staff members' times that they would go. They would interact. People loved having those conversations. I don't know how many cakes we got from the old age homes. The food was incredible that they would give us, just because they were so grateful for us coming and popping in and collecting their laundry and then dropping it off again. It was quite incredible. So I want you to, before I carry on, I want you to think about, what are you offering? Can you put your 3 levels together? If you think about what you're currently doing, can you take what you're doing and put it into one of the layers? Hi, Sarah. Nice to see you. Can you put your product offering into one of the layers? Because we tend to think that, yes, we've got a bottom of the level or the entry level product offering, but when you actually look at it, you don't. So if you are realistic about what you offer, do you have all three layers? I'm seeing some nods, I'm seeing some shakes, So if I asked you, where is the majority of your product offerings right now? Bottom, middle, or top?
Middle.
And that's the problem, okay? I just want to say, and at least I would question, and the only reason why I'm saying that is unless you've got a multi-million rand offering, that's your offering, I think that they're probably middle.
Just always so customized what I deliver. There is a backdrop, but it's always customized to where people are at.
Yeah. But
So
it
it's
will
always,
yeah. But it
no,
will always
no.
be, sometimes it's a template that we use, but customization. But sitting right at the top is, can you imagine taking the clients that you currently have, okay, and putting something together that's almost on steroids, okay, where you do it on their behalf, not with them, because sitting right at the top is where you do it on their behalf. So what could that be?
I'm not sure what that could be in a coaching business. It could be a retreat, but I'm not sure.
Or it could be where you put their strategy together. So depending on what you're coaching them on, you could design their entire year or themselves for their company, complete year strategy on their behalf. That's a once-off and it's limited, but it will take a lot of research on your behalf, working with a lot of people within inside the organization to understand what they've done, how they've done it, etc. And then you strategize and put it together for them. That would be a big ticket item as an example.
Okay. Let me think about that.
Anybody got another idea for their big ticket item? What can you do that sits right at the top of your pyramid that you're not currently doing?
I'd love to run a one day event with 300 people,
Okay.
really big scale kind of vibe.
And what am I going to get different from if I work with you one-on-one?
I think the main thing would be that collective energy of people working together, the vibe and the total immersion and I guess building connections around you the whole day.
Interesting. Nice. So why don't you do it, Dovey? What's stopping you?
Myself.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's put a date in the diary and work towards it, hey? So you all got your layers right. And I would question each one of you to go back and relook at your layers, just because I know that often we think we have a top of the range moment, but actually it's part of your middle section, okay? And I'm going to show you why in a moment. So let's move on a little bit more. So these are the things that we're looking at when we look at the layers, okay? But part of your layers is your packaging. And this becomes really, really clear. Now, a lot of you have already done the blueprint with Landy, which is phenomenal because it allows you to package what you do together. And that just sends you to the next level, okay? And that becomes really important. You've got to name your different processes. You've got to trademark different processes. You've got to have logos and slogans and all those kind of things with each one of your packaging packaged offerings, okay? You've got to understand what that specific problem is, because that's part of what you package in, is the more someone feels seen, the faster they're going to buy from you. You've got to give them a promise, and you can't just say 6 coaching sessions. That's not a promise. The promise is that you're going to walk away with a clear monetizable offer and a client pathway. That's a promise. So each one of your offerings, when you package it, what are you putting there as your promise? And that's really because clients want to buy results from you. And then what's the process that you use? I've just put one of Mike and Landy's infographics up because I think that what they do with their infographics is absolutely phenomenal. And we do too little of this in business. You've got to have whatever you do in, whatever process you use in, even if it's something that you're going to customize for each time around, you're always going to follow a step 1, step 2, step to 5 or to 7 or to whatever. There is always going to be a pathway. Each of the steps is going to be a little bit customizable, or can be a little bit customizable if you want it to be. Okay, so there's got to be a structure behind it. And then you've got to have proof, because this builds the credibility. So this is when people are talking about, that LinkedIn recommendations with everybody goes, oh, I don't want to do that, or Google reviews. This is what people are looking for. So when you go on to Amazon or on to Takealot or on to wherever, do you go and look at the reviews that are on there? 90% of us do. So that means that if I'm going to go and look for you, I also want to see the reviews that people are saying about you. So what are they saying about you? And this also helps on your LinkedIn. The more reviews you have, the easier people will find you on LinkedIn or any other social media. And Google has now taken over from some of those other social medias where people are finding one another again, which is very interesting. And then price. If you're too low, people don't have confidence in what you're doing. If you're too high, but got a weak packaging, then they're going to be resistant to buying it from you. But if you're high with strong packaging, it feels justifiable for them. They can see the value in it. So pricing is a major psychological moment that you go through when you start putting your products together. So I want you just to keep in mind your entry level needs to be pretty simple. So the packaging is simple, okay? It needs to be very clear. Your mid-level here, I need structure and I need results. And then your premium, this is exceptionally personalized. And that's where the difference comes in from your different layers. So when I say that you do very little at your bottom tier, this is why it just needs to be something that's relatively simple. And then, so if you look at what I did at the Iron Lady, the entry level, it was very simple. We wash your clothes, we dry your clothes, we iron your clothes. You can drop it off in the morning and we can fetch it in the evening. Mid-level was mending and alterations and making items for retainer clients. And then the premium was delivery service. But my actual premium, and this is why I say we get our premiums wrong, my actual premium was that I should have franchised it, because I had all the structures in place to copy and paste it. So the person that bought it from me did exactly that. They franchised this operation. So even though it was a great lucrative business for me, I wasn't satisfied with the creativity. If I just taken a step back and really had somebody guiding me a little bit more, I could have then built it into a franchise, because everything was now in place. If you look at my current business or what I'm doing in the Diamond Academy, my entry level is a Strat Lab, which I do. It's a 2-day workshop every quarter. I work obviously with Mike and Landy with a Circle of Excellence. And then I have my Diamond Plan, which is a 9-month program. My mid-tier is speaking on stage. I have a radio slot on 702 from next month, which is really exciting. I do a lot of ambassadorship stuff. I'm a non-exec board member, and I'm a strategic board member for many organizations where people bounce ideas with me. before they make their final major decisions. And then the top of my tier is I license out the diamond plan. So people buy licenses for me and they can use my knowledge. I have a program called Elegantly Naughty for top exec women CEOs. And I am finalizing my TV series. So can you see how it changes the narrative when I say like your top of your pyramid is very different to what normally happens? Okay. So a little bit of psychology behind packaging, I think is important to really,
quick.
of course.
You continue your first slide. So you were saying for your previous slide around your licensing of your diamond plan, would that not eventually become a do it yourself? So now that you've licensed it, people can do it themselves. So that would move into your entry. And then you actually running it with them and for them would more become your premium offer.
No, so licensing would be, for example, you're going to step into business growth. Okay, so for example, and you don't have a program behind your name yet, you're going to buy my license for me. It costs a lot of money. And then with that license, there's a monthly amount of money that you have to pay because obviously we keep building the brand, etc. So that it's like a franchise. It's just not as dramatic as a franchise. So
But you don't do it with them, right? So they do it themselves. Once they've bought the license, they can do with it whatever they want.
Yeah, they do it themselves, but they do it with their clients themselves. What the difference is that I've got to work with them. So I would work with you on a monthly basis to upskill you, to answer any of your questions that you've got, to keep adding knowledge to you so that you can keep adding knowledge to your clients.
Okay, makes sense.
Is it like a train the trainer kind of thing?
It is a type of train the trainer. The difference is that you're using my IP.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay, so which a lot of people don't know that they can do, because, and it becomes really important. The moment you start developing your own IP, you can franchise, you can license, you can do so much with it. And that's the thing is with what we don't often get right is that we just stick with it and we have FOMO, so we hang on to it, you know. But if you package it correctly, people will want it. And that's the important side. You want people to want it. So it's how you're going to sell it to them. Yeah. Any other questions? Are we cool with that?
That's cool. Thanks. Makes a lot of sense.
Awesome. But also remember that how you package your product offering together, like the ones that all of you guys that have done your blueprint with Landy, you have a document now. You know, if you print your actual logo that you designed, that took you a long time because I know it takes most of you a long time to get through. You've now got it. You've spent a lot of time behind it. You know, create a beautiful folder because when you're going to pitch that folder with your blueprint inside it, with knowledge about it, with an infographics of how you work, etc., is the quickest and easiest way to pitch. So just a reminder on that scene. Okay, let's just finish off a couple of slides and then you can all go wild with as many questions. So psychology, we want to build trust. So trust is about being simple, being specific, being believable. Name it. The more you name your processes or a program, etc., the more credible it is, the more of authority you can start demanding, as well as the higher the price, because now people can see that there is a science behind it. It needs to be speed. It needs to have speed behind it, but you've got to be specific with what is the time frame. So within the laundry, we said we had 24 hours to get your laundry out. With my diamond plan, I work with you for 9 months. Can you see it's very specific when it comes to the time frame behind it? And then your perceived effort versus your value. What is the real value that I'm going to get out of it? And what is the perceived value that I'm going to get out of it? So I know a lot of my clients wants to join the diamond plan because they want access to my community, because I have a big ecosystem. And that's a perceived value that I'm going to share my ecosystem. So practical steps for packaging. What is the problem? What results do you deliver? What is it called? what is the journey? So where's your infographic and what is your price? So price is all about positioning yourself. Where are you going to position? Are you targeting China at the bottom end of the scale where you know you're going to lose if you go too low because you're never going to be able to compete with China? Are you targeting mid-level where you know most of your competitors are sitting, or are you targeting premium? And if you're targeting premium, does everything look premium? Common mistakes is that it becomes too generic, so I can't really see who you're targeting. And there's too many options, so I'd become overwhelmed. Normally 3 options at any given point. Of if people come to you and say, I want to work with you, it's normally 3 options. The hours or the time frame behind it, you're not selling your time, but you are selling a time frame of something. If there's no name behind it, so if I didn't say it was the diamond plan, what am I going to call it? So then it's hard to sell. Well, you can work with me for however long you need, and maybe we'll get some result. No, mine's 9 months. We work 3 hours together once a month. I know that I will double your turnover or 10x your business, depending on where you are at within your business. As simple as what that is. And if there's no clear results, people don't know what they're paying for. So often when we start in a business and we haven't got results, we need to get those results as soon as we can. The moment we've got one result, we can start talking about it. You looking for results, and that's what the bottom of the pyramid allows you to do, is gain quick, easy results from your clients. And make sure that there's a balance between low ticket items versus high ticket items. And what is your strategy between the 2 different ones if you've got these varying price points, because that is what's going to ultimately drive your marketing, where you market, how you market. Because remember, if you're only going to be marketing your low ticket items or the bottom of your pyramid, you're never going to be able to pitch for top end. So if you pitch top end, you will filter to middle and low. Okay, so keep that in mind when you put together a marketing plan for your product offerings. Questions, comments? Did you learn anything? Nothing. Everybody's very quiet.
Learned so much. Thank you. I realize that I'm often pricing myself at an entry level, but I'm actually doing scalable work, which is my biggest problem. But yes, this gave me a lot to think about. Thanks, Diane. And I've actually made myself a little different colors so I can try and
look
start
at you
brainstorming my business and seeing where I can move things into the right pyramid level.
So, Monet, if I was you, what I would do is take a product offering, okay, that you currently do, break it down into how you do it. So, do I spend a day with my client? Do I, whatever it is that you do, okay, list them. And then without looking at the price that you charge, go to each area and say, a day with my client is X, okay? And most facilitators or executive coaches are charging 75,000 upwards. So that would be your first price that you write. Okay. One day with the team or with whoever is 75,000 or 99,000 or wherever you're pitching your pricing. Okay. Then whatever your other steps are that you do, you put a price tag to it, but work it out scientifically. If you charge 99 Rand for 99,000 Rand for 8 hours, you work out your hourly rate then, okay? And then if you're spending further time with them, you work in that rate, plus you work in whatever else that you're doing with them, etc. You'll start realizing just how little you've been charging at the end. But what it does allow you to do is it allows you to say that these are the stages I'm going to work with you. So this is my infographics. We start off with this, and this is what it's going to cost. Then we go, instead of saying to them in total, I'm going to charge you 500,000 Rand, I'm going to charge it to the following, and we can do it over the following time frame. Okay. Sometimes they're going to come back to you and say to you, I would rather us do it in a shorter time frame. And whether you can or you can't, depending on what they've got to do, that's, that's absolutely fine. And some people will say to you, if I pay up front today for the entire process, can I get a 10% discount? And the answer is yes, because you're going to make more money from your interest because they're going to sit in your account until you're finished. Okay.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, but really break it down, because this is what we don't do right, is we thumbsuck an amount. And then when we start really analyzing what we do, we realize it's way more than what we thought we were going to do.
For sure. Thank you.
Pleasure. Any other questions? You're all priced right, you're all fabulous, you're all making loads of money, and the bank account is full. Because if it's not, then you have to ask a question. If the bank account is empty, there's a problem. Sarah.
Diane, yeah, so looking at your structure, I'm sort of realizing that I have the top tier predominantly and the bottom tier.
Nice.
And I don't think I have the middle tier, which I'm assuming is your regular income. So I have the big retreats and the big high packages.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I have my community, which is the low-hanging fruit. It's like $20 a month, which is very busy, but I just don't have that regular monthly people signing up to what I'm going to call the middle tier, which I see now being a bit of a gap, which would be my regular income.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
100%. So the bottom is really nice because that can pay your fixed expenses, but then you're not making any money yet. So the
Yeah.
middle part is actually where you start making money and building your wealth.
Yeah. So I put a lot of attention into the top tier,
yeah.
but that's you sort of described it as seldom, sort of, which is, yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So how often do you do your retreats in the year?
I have 4 a year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So I put a
definitely
lot of attention into them. I put a lot of attention into them, and it's great money, but they're one-offs,
yeah.
right? So it's not,
Yeah.
and that sort of one-off money you tend to kind of throw into things you shouldn't.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you have a fantastic database now, though, of all those people that have come to your retreats. What could
Yeah.
you offer them next? So what would they need from you to help them with their,
Yeah.
with whatever they're doing with their books or their book launch or their,
Yeah.
could you could even do things like a masterclass on how to launch your book now that you've written it. Because often, even if you're talking about it in the retreat, how to launch, they're not hearing you because they haven't written their book yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it could be reiterating what you talk about at your retreat, but in a more of a masterclass environment, more of a coaching environment, if you wanted to go that route,
Yeah.
or even putting together courses that you like create once and people buy, like a follow-up
Yes.
afterwards, even,
I think, yes, and I do have a mentorship, a year-long mentorship. I think I just got a little bit bored of it after 17 years. So, you also get bored, so you want to do different things, but just that regular
Yeah.
is critical, yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. And I must just say, I've been reading so many things recently about boredom and the products that we get bored, because entrepreneurs and business owners are usually quite creative in their ways. So as I said, I mean, I sold a business that was doing really well because I could only fold undies 7 ways and it was enough. And in fact, I sat and tried to work out how many pairs of underpants I fold or underwear I folded. And I lost count when I got to 56,000. So it was a lot. But you get bored after a while. But the boring stuff sells. That's the bottom line. You've got to have a balance between boring, which brings in the money, and a touch of creativity that you add in on a continuous basis as well. So it would be good to go back to what you did for 17 years, but maybe tweak it now. Maybe vibe it up a little bit more, change the way that you do it. And then also start looking at what else do they need, because we're now in a different era with AI. And
Exactly.
especially in your space, you know?
Yeah. Disaster in the book space.
Yes, exactly that. But a lot of people are going back to holding that book again.
Yeah, so but publishers, yeah, if you use AI, you're dead in the water in the book world. Publishers won't take it, Amazon won't load it.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, isn't
Which
it?
is,
Eh? Which is good though. I
I
mean,
think is
people are going to
great.
use their head. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? We're all fantastic. Fabulous. Well done, everybody. Please go back and have a look at your layers. And if you don't know where you actually sit, please reach out to me. I'll go through them and I'll sort them for you, because I really want you to get this right. If you get this right, your marketing then becomes easy. So that's kind of the next level, is what do you do with this and how do you market it and who do you market to? So maybe when we meet up again, we'll start looking at that, which will include, somebody asked about marketing system and LinkedIn and language and all of that. So we'll start looking into that going forward. Please reach out. You know where I am. You've got my information, and I hope to see you again. Thank you for joining. Bye, everybody. Have a fab day. Be fabulous.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Cheers.